welcome to Crime in Court. My name is Heather. This is episode 62 of the Canton Cover-Up, Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. We also talk about Turtle Boy, Aiden Carney, and um, so this is episode 62, sorry. Dyslexic apparently. Episode 62, the lawsuit against Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty. So, with that, we are going to talk about not just the lawsuit that someone has against the chief of police in Canton, but we're also going to be talking in depth a little bit about who is Helena Rafferty. So, she currently is the police chief of Canton, and she was in charge while the John O'Keefe investigation took place. So, we're going to take a look at a little bit. Well, actually, I should say she wasn't in charge at the time, but she was deputy chief, and Chief Berkowitz was the chief in charge, but he was on leave. So Chief Rafferty was a big part of this investigation, and she is currently the chief. And the investigation continued under her. Some of the things, why was Canton not recused, even though it was recused, but technically the Canton police officers were still very heavily involved. In fact, as we all know, the Karen's SUV was brought to the Canton PD Sallyport, and we've all seen the infamous flipped Sallyport video. That is where it takes place. She may or may not have known things were going on at the time, if you listen to Sean McDonough. So there are um, some mysterious or intriguing things about Helena Rafferty. And finally, we will get to the lawsuit. So let's get started. I wanted to tell you who she is. Let's read her bio, shall we? Because I've never actually read it. So she's actually the first woman who was named police chief in Canton, which is, congratulations to her, an achievement. Um, So, you got to give her credit where credit is due, and that's pretty amazing. And that is progress for Canton PD. They finally had a woman sheriff, dep, what is she? Office of the chief. Chief. She's saying sheriff. She's not the sheriff. She's the chief. All right. So, Chief Helena Rafferty followed in the footsteps of her ancestors and became a fourth generation police officer. Her great grandfather was a member of the Royal Irish Constabulary, and her grandfather a member of the An Garda Síochána, which is an Irish police force. I know I didn't say that right. Sorry. Her dad immigrated to America in the 1960s, and he retired as a Canton police detective. So she followed in his footsteps and actually went into the same police department that he was a detective. So that's interesting. In 1989, Helena followed suit and was sworn in as the second female officer in the history of the Canton PD. So that's kind of cool. Second woman, and then the first female chief. In 1996, she was promoted to sergeant. In 1999, she attained the rank of lieutenant. So that's pretty fast. I mean, 89 to 96, I guess, that's not that fast, but 96 to 99 to go suddenly from sergeant to lieutenant, you have a lot more people under you, you have a lot more responsibility. And then in 2012, she was finally promoted to deputy chief. I mean, I'm not saying that she hasn't earned it. She's definitely earned it. She's been an officer since 1989. In June of 2022, she became the 14th chief for the town of Canton. Chief Rafferty holds a BA in criminal justice from Stonehill College, a master's degree in criminal justice from Anna Maria College, and a graduate certificate in public administration from Suffolk University. In September of 2002, Chief Rafferty had the privilege of attending the 211th National Academy session hosted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. She has been honored to receive the Humanitarian Award from the Irish American Police Officers Association and the Leadership Award from the I'm assuming Massachusetts Women in Law Enforcement, otherwise known as MALL. I'm assuming Mall, an organization she is now the executive director of. Throughout her career, Chief Rafferty has had the opportunity to oversee the domestic V unit, the Bureau of Criminal Investigations, and the School Resource Program, to name a few. Additionally, she is the current member of the Metropolitan Law Enforcement Council, the Metro LEC, and the Public Information Unit. So in January of 2016, Chief Rafferty Universal Interests presented her with a global training opportunity, a law enforcement summit in Israel, attending by federal, state, and local officials. For the last 10 plus years, Chief Rafferty has held the role of president for Cops for Kids with Cancer, a charity that offers financial assistance to children with cancer in the New England area. To date, the organization has given away over $5 million, wow, to families needing support as they travel the path this unimaginable journey brings. That is amazing, and that is another congratulations to Chief Rafferty. Chief Rafferty would describe her greatest role and legacy in life to be the four chambers of her heart, her incredible children, Declan, Aiden, that's funny, Colin, that's funny, and Breslin. So she's got a Colin and an Aiden, Colin Albert and an Aiden Carney. I know that. So that is her bio, and for all intents and purposes, um she's put in her time. She's worked her way up the ranks and she's done some good through some humanitarian work and through some philanthropistic charities and whatnot. So, yeah, she's currently the chief. I believe her um, contract was up for just recently in the most recent select board meetings in the past like couple meetings. Her this has been actually a topic of debate in the select board meetings, which a lot of times the young jerks Mike Crawford airs, and we sometimes go over those or at least pick out some highlights from them because there's a lot of interesting things that happen. One of them is, hearing about Chief Rafferty. We also learned that there that Colin Albert, the brother of Brian Albert, was put on leave from the police department, paid leave, but leave nonetheless. So, anyways, what was I going to say? They were talking about renewing her contract. So, her contract was just recently up for renewal. That's what I'm trying to say. And the people of Canton came to the meetings and very loudly opposed renewing her contract. And the select board said, we don't care what you think, we're going to renew her anyways. And they did. I've heard it's a year. I've also heard it's 2 years. So I'm not actually sure what it is. I want to say it's a year, but it could possibly be 2 years too. I'm not sure. I thought because they were in a bind and they didn't have anybody else, they hadn't gone out searching for any other people to be chief, then I think they might have just renewed her for a year, but don't quote me on that. All right, so we read her bio. Because she might not be renewing and because of some other legal issues that she recently may have gotten herself into, she is putting her house up for sale. So, What does the police chief's house look like? Anybody? This. This is in Norfolk, Massachusetts, and it is $1.7 million home for sale. This is Helena Rafferty's house. So we're gonna go through. Is there a slideshow? Oh yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so pictures. That's her kitchen. It's a nice kitchen. Dining room. More dining room. I mean, look at the size of this home. Look at all that space you have. And the nice hardwood floor you got like this border going around it. That's nice. I love this like angled window area unless it's just a camera angle, but I don't think so. It looks like the wall comes out almost like a bay window, but not quite. But that's our dining room. Let's see what else. More dining room. Living room or family room. That's really nice. Really nice space. It's huge. Nice fireplace. Very bright, airy, nice open area. Nice screened-in porch with a fan. Hello. That's nice. Just sit out and no bugs, and you can make your own breeze with your fan above you. We got a little fireplace there. This looks like a office or something, storage area, an office. Another living area, living room, dining room, or living room, family room. Space is just ginormous. Lots of fireplaces around. I don't even know what this room is, but it's open. They're not even using it. That's how much space they have. They don't. Oh, wow. Look at the entryway into the home. This is what a police chief's salary gets you in Canton, Massachusetts. Just some suburb of Boston, I think. I mean, aren't you guys a suburb? I'm not trying to diminish you, but like, it's not like you're a Boston, let's say, to have such a high salary to be able to afford this home, man. It's a nice bedroom, bathroom, master bath. You got a bathtub and a shower, stand-up shower, which is also huge, and you get this huge um, faucet above you. His and her sink, lots of storage. They got a TV in the bathroom, so you can soak and watch YouTube. Watch your YouTube channels. Another bedroom, another bath, laundry area. I mean, you guys get the point. Ew, I don't like that carpet, but that's a boys' bathroom for sure. Another bedroom, more kitchen pictures. Very nice open area. I love it. Is that another family area? It is. Another family area that might be in the basement or something. It looks like a basement family room. Yeah, basement bedroom. No windows. Little bar area. Another family room area. Like, how many family room areas do you need? Holy cannoli. All right, so that's a lot of space. That's more space than probably most people need. How many bedrooms is it? Let's see. It's a 5 bedroom, 7 bath, 10,000 square foot home. So just think of that what you will. Discover the epitome of luxury living at this home. I don't really want to dox her, but she's moving anyway, so she's not gonna be there long. This stunning colonial style home on a beautifully landscaped 1.15 acre lot. So she's got land too. Step into elegance with a 2-story foyer featuring a bridal staircase. That's what that's called. The main level's open floor plan includes a sunken living room with a fireplace, a formal dining room with a tray ceiling, and a family room with cathedral ceilings and a stone fireplace. The gourmet kitchen is the chef's dream, equipped with stainless steel appliances, stone countertops, and three large kitchen island with no S. I think it means three large kitchen islands. The second floor offers a luxurious primary suite and a walk-in closet and a spa-like private bath. Additional bedrooms are spacious and well appointed. Well appointed? What does that mean? The finished lower level includes an in-law suite with a full kitchen and a game room. I love in-law suites. I don't know why, but I do. Opening to the expansive backyard, not expensive, but it is expensive because it comes with a $1.7 million price tag. So, but it says expansive, sorry. It says expansive backyard. Located in a prime area with access to shopping, parks, and top-rated schools, this home combines comfort and convenience. So there you have it. I want to see their backyard photos, but it doesn't show anything. There's dimensions and stuff. Nothing really interesting. All right, so there you have it. That's her home. You guys want to live in the soon to be former Canton police chief's uh, $1.7 million home? You can buy it now. It's on sale. So with that being said, I want to talk about after Berkowitz left, I really want a definitive date of when he left and when she was sworn in. Hold on, let me find that for you. Like magic. Here we go. Okay, so Rafferty officially sworn in as Canton's first police chief by Mike Berger, and this was in the Canton Citizen Monday, August 5th, 2004. Helena Rafferty is sworn in as police chief by town clerk Tracy Kenny. Hundreds of friends, family members, fellow officers, local dignitaries, and well-wishers behind her, a proud Helena Rafferty was sworn in as Canton's 14th chief of police on a picture-perfect evening last Tuesday, June 14th, on the grounds of the Paul Revere Heritage Site. Hold on. Today is August 5th, 2024. This event, when did this take place? This was posted, sorry. Okay, so this was posted by Mike Berger on June 24th, 2022. So 2 years ago. And 2 years ago in June of 2022, she was sworn in. Remember, the incident of John O'Keefe and the loss of his life took place on January 29th, 2022. So, um, just a few months later. I'm not exactly sure when Berkowitz or how, he retired shortly after this investigation. And then, obviously, we have Chief Rafferty coming in June. Chief Berkowitz says she is the best police officer, the best leader, and a great administrator who also happens to be a woman, and that's why she's got the job. That's coming from Berkowitz. Are these are chief of police um, appointed? I think they are appointed. So did Berkowitz appoint him? Rafferty is the first female in the town's history to be appointed chief by outgoing police chief Ken Berkowitz. Said that distinction is merely a bonus for an officer who has hands down the best candidate for the job. So he's saying she's the best for the job, but she just also happens to be a woman. So good for her. All right, so select board chair John Connolly, who is still the select board chair, who has followed Rafferty's career since she was hired as a patrol officer, knew right away that the department had its successor when Berkowitz announced his retirement plans in March. Boom. Okay, so the incident of John O'Keefe's homicide, I'm going to say, happened January. He was on leave. He comes back probably, or at least announces his retirement in March. I don't know if he came back officially. Um, and then and then uh June, she's appointed chief. And she's friend like Rafferty is buddy buddy with Berkowitz. So just keep that in mind too. We had the right person here. There was no need for a national search, said Connolly, who described Rafferty as honest, hardworking, and compassionate. And I'm laughing because I'm just laughing. We'll get there. All right, so she took to the podium at Tuesday's ceremony. So when she was sworn in as chief, she said that she was speechless at the size of the crowd and thanked all of those in attendance who helped make that moment possible. She also thanked the select board, who also seemed to really have her back, for allowing her to choose both the date and venue of her swearing in and reflected on the significance of each. She says, when my mother, who passed away last August, immigrated to America, she got her first job as the Plymouth Rubber Factory, which was located at the parcel on this parcel of land, Rafferty explained. And the brick building to the right of me used to be the Joint Police and Fire Department. This is where my father and godfather served as police officers. Rafferty said she chose to have the event on June 14th because it was Flag Day, as well as the birthday of the U.S. Army. Quote, to all the selfless veterans in the crowd, 9 of whom are members of the Canton Police Department, thank you so much for your service and sacrifice to our nation and our flag, a symbol each of us of the best, a symbol to each of us of the best this nation has to offer, she said. While acknowledging the unfavorable light shown on the police profession in recent years due to the actions of certain officers, Rafferty said, I mean, you can't make this up, folks. This is how ironic these people are and unaware of their own words that will bite them back. It will bite them in the butt later on. So Rafferty said Canton is fortunate to have good officers, the kind who will run into school buildings with no hesitation whatsoever and who in recent weeks have placed themselves in peril, taking 5 GUNs and illegal substances off our streets. But they fail to get search warrants to go into Boston police officer Brian Albert's house when another Boston police officer is found unconscious on his front lawn. They don't do that, but they do these other things supposedly. If it's even true, who knows what they're doing? Because we're finding out so many of these cops have a bad rap sheet. Rafferty, and I want to do an episode on just bad cops, period, that are, this stuff is coming to light now. All these cops, the law enforcement, prosecutors that are being exposed, shall we say. So Rafferty announced that one of her first initiatives as chief will be to have the number 1440 added to marked CPD vehicles. It represents the one thing that every person on earth indisputably has in common. We each have only 1,440 minutes in a day to make a difference. All right, great. So I guess we don't sleep. During the pinning ceremony, Rafferty was surrounded by her children, sons Declan, Aiden, and Colin, and her daughter Breslin, who sang the national anthem. Her kids sang it. Leading the Pledge of Allegiance were the children of several Canton officers, including Ella and Lila Anderson, Michaela Becker, Logan Galanis, Hannah and Tommy Healy, and Bobby Zeff. I don't recognize any of those last names, but that's good. If I don't recognize their names, that means they're probably good cops. The ceremony also featured invocational messages from Canton clergy members, Reverend John Tamilo of the Congregational Church of Canton. I'm not going to read all these names. All these people showed up. And oh, look who also was in attendance, Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey. That's awesome. Michael Morrissey comes and hangs out at the swearing in of Canton Chief of Police Helena Rafferty, the current. And so she just recently, it probably was last June then. Maybe since she was sworn in June, it was probably in June that I didn't mean to get into a tangent and read all that, but yeah, we found it and it was interesting. So, they probably, because, it was probably a 2-year contract, they probably were up for another up for renewal, and they just renewed it willy-nilly with another year or two, the select board, because they didn't have other potential chiefs to appoint, possibly, or they just weren't prepared. I don't know, because in this article it says that Berkowitz appointed the next chief, so Rafferty could be appointing the next chief. Well, regardless, maybe she's not going to sign up. Maybe she doesn't want a contract. Maybe she's done, and that's why she's listing her $1.7 million home. Maybe she's got lawsuits that she needs to figure out how to pay and or settle and pay for her lawyer fees and things like that. So that could be another reason why she's selling her home. I don't really know, and it's all speculation, but kind of fun to speculate. So I want to next read. I'm going to read you something here. All right, so you can blame Turtle Boy for this. I got this off of one of his blog posts. I don't know what newspaper this is, but he posted uh, some back and forth between a Canton citizen and Chief Rafferty. So it's a Q&A with Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty. This is um, sometime after. Wait, hold on one second. Sorry, I thought there was a date on here that was post something else that I was going to show you. So, but it doesn't. All right, so this is sometime after she was sworn in June and before a November special town meeting. So I think this was 2023, but I can't be sure because I don't have the paper. I don't know what paper this came from, or, I don't have a citation, so I apologize. But here we go. All right. So, in anticipation of the November 20th special town meeting calling for stronger government oversight, and in light of specific criticisms and concerns directed at Canton police leadership, the citizen. Okay. So the citizen, Canton Citizen is the name of the uh, paper. So the Canton Citizen posed the following questions to Police Chief Helena Rafferty, and her responses are provided below. Consistent with standard police practice involving open criminal cases, Chief Rafferty cannot comment specifically on any inquiry regarding the Karen Reed trial. However, such questions reflect many of the key concerns voiced by residents and therefore are listed below. All right, so the first question is, to your knowledge, were any current or former members of the Canton Police Department involved in any way in a cover-up or conspiracy related to the loss of Boston police officer John O'Keefe's life? Have you conducted any kind of internal investigation into the initial CPD responses at 34 Fairview Road on the morning of January 29th, 2022? Chief Rafferty states, as I stated in my select board address on August 8th, that is what she was referencing, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. I'll show you after this. She says, there is absolutely no evidence on a cover up in the tragic loss of John O'Keefe's life. We always perform internal debriefs of calls to discuss all aspects of our response team. That's not answering the question. To your knowledge, were any former members of the Canton Police involved? And have you conducted any kind of internal investigation She says there's absolutely no evidence of a cover up. We always performed internal debriefs of calls. What does that mean? Have you conducted internal investigation? They do debriefs, so that's their internal investigation. That's not the same because they do a debrief. Okay. Canton Citizen asks, at what point, at what point on the morning of January 29th, 2022, did CPD officers turn over the investigation to the Massachusetts State Police? Why did responding CPD officers not secure the scene prior to this point? Chief Rafferty says all specifics related to these inquiries will be addressed in the testimony of witnesses in the upcoming trial. Okay. Canton Citizen says CPD responding officers have faced criticism and suspicion for their failure to recover. I need to make this bigger. My eyesight is not good. It's blurry too, so I apologize, but it is what it is. All right, so CPD responding officers has faced criticism and suspicion for their failure to recover what has been characterized as critical physical evidence, vehicle taillight pieces, and their handling of the evidence. The samples collected in the plastic solo cups, the Stop and Shop bags, the leaf blowers, need we go on? Not taking pictures, not measuring things from, measuring the distance, not, diagramming where everything was. Can you comment on the initial evidence collection process and whether department protocols were followed correctly? Chief Rafferty says all specifics related to these inquiries will be addressed in the testimony of the witnesses in the upcoming trial. So she's not answering any questions. We know now, looking back, none of these things were answered. They did not follow protocol. They used Stop and Shop bags, leaf blowers, solo cups. Like I said, you could just go on and on and on about all the things. They didn't go into the house. They didn't separate the witnesses. They didn't interview the witnesses properly. They only took Jen McCabe's word for everything. So, I mean, you could just go on and on and on about how bad this investigation was. They didn't secure the scene properly. They didn't put tents up. They didn't melt the snow with heaters instead of a leaf blower, which doesn't do anything but blow the snow out of its original position. So you're basically disrupting the scene rather than actually, taking a mat or a tent like law enforcement who I've listened to on other channels have said that's what they would do. Take a tent, get your tent out, get some heaters out, melt that snow, and do your crime scene that way. They did so many things wrong. We could continue going on and on and on, but yet her answer is it'll all come out in trial. Did it though? Who was overseeing them to make sure that they were following protocol? Who was overseeing that? Oh, wait, Chief Rafferty, that was you. You were in charge. Maybe not at the time, but the investigation continued, and Michael Proctor was going out and continuing his investigation. Yuri Buchanan, they're still to this day going and, what's the word, harassing people who they want to get for witness intimidation so they can get Turtle Boy and other charges. And those are the Mass State Police. I understand that's not Canton, but still. All right, I can go on and on. All right, so all specifics related to these inquiries will be addressed in the testimony of trial. All right, so what are the CPD's policies, if any, regarding conflicts of interest? More specifically, can you address the concerns raised by citizens of Michael Lank, prior relationship with the Albert family, and his participation in the response on the morning of January 29th? Further, why did Detective Lank return to the scene when contacted by a witness hours after the investigation had been turned over to the state police? Yeah, it cuts it off. Something, it doesn't finish it all. Sorry, picture does cut it off. But I did want to read her responses because I think that they're very telling. So here, blah blah blah, have citizens CPD or have criticized CPD for spending more time and resources on the alleged forgery of special town meeting petition signatures than on an anonymous threat sent to several outspoken citizens. Do you agree or disagree with this characterization? Please explain. Chief Rafferty says strongly disagree. The Canton Police Department spent minimal time on the investigation of the alleged forged signatures without the cooperation of the petitioner to help identify how the forged signatures occurred, and the declination on the Attorney General's office to make the investigation. Our investigation came to an end. The investigations into harassing, disturbing, unnerving correspondence and hate-filled actions directed at numerous residents in our community, which is continuing to happen today now. They're throwing bleach balloons on people's lawns and ruining their lawns and vegetation and property. I mean, that costs money. You got to replace that. Nothing will grow again. So we recently brought charges against the person responsible for throwing an egg at protesters in July. The case went to court and the victims neglected to show. The reason the victims neglected to show was because the Norfolk District Attorney's Office never notified. So there was a standout. Something was going on for Free Karen Reed. Some woman who was anti Karen Reed people threw an egg at an innocent woman and her child, and they did try to press charges for throwing the egg. And this is what happened. The charges were then dropped because the victim didn't show. But the reason she didn't show was because she didn't even know about the case being tried. So yeah. Here, I'm not sure what the question is either because it gets cut off, but she said, or so the question is, residents have pointed to this incident as another example of police overreach. Oh, citing witness intimidation as police overreach, and it goes to like the Canton Five and Aiden Carney. Um, Residents have pointed that this incident is another example of police overreach and a violation of First Amendment rights, which they've been doing left and right in Norfolk County. What is the legal rationale behind the police response to the protesters? Chief Rafferty says no officer, quote, threatened to arrest any citizen. They were advised that their activity was criminal in nature. For further clarification regarding this inquiry, please see the November 10th ruling in the U.S. District Court of Massachusetts. In the aforementioned ruling, Judge Denise Casper denied the protesters' request for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction against the Canton PD related to a planned protest on November 12th. I don't know what this is in reference to. Judge Casper found that the witness intimidation statute serves the compelling interests of protecting the orderly administration of justice. So this freaking judge in some order said that the witness intimidation statute is compelling, serves the compelling interest of protecting the orderly administration of justice. How though? I mean, so we've gone over this in length. It almost puts people in like this protected class of citizens where it's like it's not just the witnesses in a trial, but it's also like their family members you can't even talk to or talk about or whatever. So it puts all these people in like this class of citizens where they're just protected. You can't hurt their feelings, which there's no law against in the United States to hurt someone's feelings. But if you upset and hurt someone's feelings, you are committing witness intimidation, which is a federal um, a felony. Sorry, a felony in Massachusetts, Norfolk County District Attorney or District. Um, Yeah, so what did she say? Judge Casper found that. Further, she found that the protesters have failed to show a risk of irreparable harm, nor have they demonstrated how their exercise of free speech has chilled the police department's actions. So, as you can see, it's been going on for a while that they've been trying to basically discredit anybody who has an opinion against the police department by calling it witness intimidation. They're intimidating witnesses if they are picketing or having any kind of opposing view against law enforcement or the DA or whoever. So they've been using that for a while, as you can see. Next, I want to play for you. So now we're going to get into what is the important thing that, or what we're here to talk about with Chief Helena Rafferty regarding I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm trying to do two things at once. So what we're here for, obviously, is the lawsuit against her. So what did she do? Let's play this. Make sure that the captions were on. Oh gosh, I gotta slow it down. Let's do 1.25 speed here. I can't seem to click. There we go. So she's going to be talking about this is the Canton Board Select Meeting, and this is Chief Rafferty. And this was 8/8/2023. So that article that I just read to you was written after that. So the article I read to you was somewhere in between August 8th, 2023 and November, because she was talking about an upcoming November thing. So that's about the time frame, and that's where she's talking about John O'Keefe's investigation and just saying it's going to come out at trial. She doesn't really have a whole lot to say about that. But anyway, so here is what she has to say about the witness intimidation stuff. This is her talking about witness intimidation and what she thinks of the people who have opposing views of the Canton PD.
However, Canton is actually a lot further on in the process than other communities. At the present time,
too far.
Norwood Way from are just as motivated to have this additional law enforcement tool is critical to our profession.
Sorry, it's reverted back. So the first thing that she was talking about at this select board meeting, she's not usually there, but for this particular meeting, she wanted to, address some things. So the first thing she addressed was like body cams, which they're stalling on. She's saying, "Oh, we really want body cams, but they're not moving forward with body cams next year. So, do they really want them? No, no, they don't." All right. So next, now she's going to be talking about the witness intimidation and what she thinks of that.
Forge ahead. The second item I'd like to touch upon is the comments made regarding the amendment of the administrative code of the select board. The language change suggested would be to alter members should treat each other with respect to members should treat all people with respect. I just wanted to say that I totally agree with this thought process, especially in these days. People in positions such as mine and that of elected officials should be held to a higher standard. That is why I'm proposing it be adopted by every town board and every elected official. It seems hypocritical to solely make members of the select board adhere to such a rule when we have a current elected planning board member who actively participated in an event that made residents of our community feel disrespected, targeted, and intimidated. An event that I believe under statute 268-13A could most possibly be deemed a criminal act. Additionally, we have an elected library trustee who as of noon today was still listed as a co-administrator on a social site that is allowing residents of our community to also be disrespected and dehumanized with innuendos, outright falsehoods, half-truths, and bullying comments. Comments I might...
What? The only people that are bullying and harassing people are on the McAlbert side. I just want to point out, there are a lot of troll accounts from the McAlbert side. They may even have some people doing it on their behalf, but for the majority of the trolling that's on the internet, it's mostly the McAlberts. And they're the ones that are, as we've seen, violent and threatening. And we saw in the street video where Turtle Boy was dining at a restaurant next to Chris Albert's restaurant, and when he came out, he was assaulted by two individuals, and him and his girlfriend were harassed verbally and quite badly by a whole group of McAlberts, including Chris Albert, who said that he was going to wipe Turtle Boy's face all down the sidewalk. So, yeah, who are the threatening ones? And Chris Albert is a select board member. He is a member of the board whose meeting this is right now. and he's threatening journalists, threatening to wipe journalists' face across pavement. Just for perspective.
I'd add that if it were made in a school environment, would and should have every resident in this town in an uproar. Yesterday, I received an email from a concerned citizen related to the, and I quote, horrendous threatening posts on this site, asking me to address the issue, as she is worried about how it may incite people to act moving forward. Let me make one thing as crystal clear as possible as I continue with my comments to our residents. I embrace the fact that we live in a country where people can have different viewpoints. I respect everyone's right to voice those viewpoints under the First Amendment. I can appreciate that some people have questions on the O'Keefe case based on the limited information they have seen thus far. However, what I cannot accept is witnesses. Let me repeat that. Witnesses. These are residents who have not been charged with any crimes, being bullied in their homes, at their children's games, or on vacation, all under the guise of the First Amendment.
They're not being bullied. People are asking them questions. Turtle Boy has done nothing but ask them questions. Where were you? Why did you Google these things? Why did you delete these things? Did you have anything to do with John O'Keefe's loss of life? They're asking questions. The reporters, I think it was WZB or whatever it is over there. There was somebody that was standing near Michael Proctor's property and trying to get an interview after he was suspended without pay. And him and his lovely wife were telling them to get off their effing lawn and go away and saying Kara Reed is guilty and whatever. So they're the ones that are I mean, you're allowed to do that as a reporter. They can do that. The woman there didn't get, a witness intimidation charge because Proctor is a witness in the Karen Reed case. He's not really a witness. He is a law enforcement officer testifying on behalf of his job of the work that he did. I don't consider that a witness. You didn't witness anything. You are investigating or planting evidence and not investigating, but in his case. But I don't consider law enforcement like witnesses. So how did Yuri Buchanan and Michael Proctor were both they both got witness intimidation charges against Turtle Boy, which I just find ridiculous. I don't understand how it happened. Anyways, going on.
This is a really slippery slope that, if allowed to continue, will cause a rapid decline in the amount of people who would ever step forward to be a witness in a case, and quite possibly the slow erosion of the criminal justice system. Conversely, as one of the judicial system, I'm sorry. Conversely, as one of the many people responsible for the safety and well-being of people in this community, I will not tolerate any persons in this town actively participating in actions that place those on the other side of this debate in fear by throwing objects from moving vehicles or any other similarly aggressive actions. What's happening to our community? Where's the civility during times of opposing viewpoints?
Excuse me. Can we have a point about she's speaking, please?
In my initial and only statement about this case,
they're making comments and laughing at that. They obviously have something to say and they disagree with the chief. And this is the exact format in which they should be able to voice their opinions, but they don't let them.
Thus far, I use the word sensational. When you Google that word, the first definition to pop up is causing great interest. Ironically, the example used in the definition is a sensational murder trial. My statement expressly asked for people to sit back and wait for all sides to be presented. How Aidan Kearney, aka Turtle Boy, manipulated my message was certainly not how it was intended. However, as with many things in this case thus far, Aidan Kearney has shown that his perception is not the reality of the situation. And here's a few examples. Aidan Kearney falsely reported that one of my children dates the daughter of Jennifer McCabe. My children have never, ever met any of the McCabe children. Responsible journalists would have fact-checked that. It's such an easy...
How would she know that? How would she know that? What if they do know one another? And I mean, I had tons of friends in high school and my mom didn't know who they were. I mean, not every friend that you have in high school you hang out with outside of high school and bring to your home where your parents meet them.
such easy information to confirm. And still, to my knowledge, that has not been retracted. Nowhere has Aidan Kearney stated, hey folks, mea culpa. Why? Perhaps because it would bring into question the veracity of his many other allegations and theories. Aidan Kearney has also insinuated the slanderous allegation that I had an inappropriate relationship with Chief Berkowitz, and as a result, he appointed me to my current position. Notwithstanding the fact that Kenny Berkowitz is not the appointing authority for this town, I can only hope that such a statement outrages.
We just read this. The outgoing Chief Berkowitz. Here. The outgoing Chief Berkowitz appointed her. She was appointed. She's saying that she wasn't appointed by him.
Every woman in this community, for we fought hard against these abhorrent defamatory stereotypes for decades. In the days leading up to his rolling rally, Aidan Kearney reported to everyone that Jennifer McCabe had fled to Maine to avoid his event. Again, he was disingenuous. Jennifer McCabe was in fact home when he and 75 to 80 people in 40 to 50 cars pulled up in front of her home with a bullhorn. She was inside with her husband. And
I don't believe anything that Jen McCabe says. So if she says she was home, I believe she was not home. Everything that comes out of that woman's mouth is a lie.
two of her 4 children. She watched this group of both residents and strangers converge on her home. Can you imagine the terror she must have felt for the safety of her children based on the state of the world today? Again, this is a witness in a case. Additionally, I know it's been circulated that John O'Keefe had conversations with Canton police detectives related to drug activity in that neighborhood. Well, I'm here to confirm that. He absolutely did. He reached out to the detective unit directly. However, none, and let me repeat that, none of his well-documented correspondence with us included anyone alleged by Aidan Kearney to be involved in this case. The point I'm trying to underscore with these statements, with the examples that I put forth as well, is the same one I was trying to make in my initial statement. Take information in and verify it. Be patient while all aspects of the case unfold. This system is painfully slow, and
we have been taking the information in and verifying it and waiting for trial and waiting for all this bombshell information that the Commonwealth seems to have to point to Karen Reed's guilt. I didn't see any at trial. Their strongest evidence is Jen McCabe saying that she said, I hit him, and she didn't say that until trial. Sorry, I didn't mean to do a rude Judge Bev side.
it should be, as the gravity of its process holds the liberty of someone in its midst. Follow the actual trial. Listen to all the information. Let the courtroom be the forum where both sides get to present their case in full. Then make your own informed decision, whatever that's going to be. I know that mistrust for the Canton Police Department has taken root around this case. Based on the feedback that I and officers have received, I'm not sure that it is nearly as widespread as portrayed by one of the speakers at the last meeting. However, I do acknowledge that it is there, and I hear you. I believe the first step in bridging that trust gap is effective and healthy communication. I'm also open to discussing ideas that residents believe will help build that fractured trust amongst those experiencing it. So let me reiterate, I am willing to meet with any Canton resident one-on-one, wherever in town you would feel most comfortable, so that we can have a dialogue where you can ask questions and you can get a sense of who I am and what I stand for as the leader of the Canton Police Department. And finally, as I close, and I'm so grateful that these final words I have will be memorialized on camera. No matter what the jury decides in the O'Keefe case, I will always be able to look in any mirror I pass. My children will always be able to view me as a person of integrity, and I will always be able to look the O'Keefe family members in their eyes, because there is absolutely no evidence of a cover-up in the tragic death of John O'Keefe.
Baloney.
Thank you for your time. You know where to find me.
Okay. Who believes her? That was her basically threatening the people of Canton and telling them I'm great and I'm good and I did everything right and above board. So that's her telling, that was her mea culpa to everybody. That was her mea culpa, because obviously Canton PD screwed up. All right, so next, this is a clip that I wanted to share with you from Boston 25 News I gotta start from the beginning, regarding the hit and run accident that Chief Rafferty is being sued for currently. So this is the reason we're here. I know, I'm sorry it took so long to get here. I had a lot of background info to talk about regarding Rafferty, but this is where we're at now. So, I'm going to play a brief clip for you. Let me make sure it's slowed down enough. And where are captions?
Tonight, Canton's police chief has issued a statement. In mid-February, she struck a pedestrian in Rentham and has been cited by police.
Boston 25 News reporter Christine McCarthy is standing by live for us now. And Christine, the victim was seriously hurt, according to his attorney.
That's right, Vanessa. The attorney whom I spoke to over the phone tells me his client suffered multiple injuries across his body and is still recovering. More than 6 weeks after a pedestrian was struck and injured in a Rentham crosswalk, we're learning the driver was Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty. A police report.
More than 6 weeks later. Let me repeat that.
And is still recovering. More than 6 weeks after a pedestrian was struck and injured in a Rentham crosswalk, we're learning the driver was Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty. A police report states the chief was driving down South Street in her town-issued SUV around 6:30 p.m. on February 16th and began to turn onto Creek Street when she hit the 67-year-old man who was wearing a yellow reflective vest and was walking with a cane.
He's conscious and alert. Head left.
He was wearing a yellow reflective vest and walking with a cane in the crosswalk. Like, this man couldn't have been any safer.
6:30 p.m. on February 16th and began to turn onto Creek Street when she hit the 67-year-old man who was wearing a yellow reflective vest and was walking with a cane.
He's conscious and alert. Head laceration and knee injury.
Police reported the street was poorly lit with only one fluorescent light, and a witness stated the driver had not been driving erratically, writing, "I saw a yellow reflective vest fall to the ground. I saw the driver of the car get out of her car right away to assist check the person who had been hit." The victim was hospitalized and treated for multiple fractures to his legs, ribs, and shoulder, enduring a major knee.
Multiple fractures to his legs, ribs, and shoulders. That's what a car accident actually does. Being hit by a vehicle. And she was probably not going very fast either during this, because if she was turning or whatnot, she must have been slowing her car. But that's multiple fractures from a car incident and a pedestrian.
Surgery before a week of rehab, his attorney tells us. Rentham police on scene requested their own chief be called, radio broadcasts indicate.
Can you see if you can raise the chief on the phone, please?
Chief Rafferty requested a breathalyzer which showed no trace of alcohol and was issued a civil citation for failing to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk. Rafferty explained in a statement, "As I proceeded to make the left turn onto Creek Street, the vehicle lights caught the reflective vest of a person in the crosswalk. I immediately applied my brakes, but unfortunately the car made contact with him, knocking him to the ground." She expressed concern for the victim, whose attorney says
she had to have been going like under 25 miles per hour. She's making a left turn. So that's probably about the same, that's like the threshold of where they were saying that Karen Reed was going 24 miles per hour reversing into John, which is impossible and just dumb. But yeah, so going forward and hitting someone in just about the same amount of force causes a lot of fractures. This man needed knee surgery. As we know from the autopsy, John had no broken bones. Nothing, no real significant injuries from his chin down or neck down. All of his injuries were around the face and head, and then he had the arm, the dog bites. Allegedly, they look like dog bites to me. As soon as I saw them, I thought they looked like animal dog bites. I mean, I had 2 German Shepherds. My dogs would do that to an arm for sure if they didn't like somebody. Not, I mean, if they wanted to jump in on a fight, which my dogs probably would not do, but some unruly German Shepherds like Brian Alberts might, perhaps.
he has a long road to recovery. Now, Canton police have been under widespread scrutiny over their handling of the Karen Reed murder case. Because of this, Chief Rafferty says in her statement she wishes she would have come forward about her own incident sooner.
Wishes she would have come forward about her own incident sooner. No. It's because you got caught that you wish that you came forward sooner, Chief Rafferty, because you were going to keep it a secret, I am sure, if you had the opportunity to not talk about it. Sorry, I'm switching views here. So okay. I was gonna go over very quickly. We went over that. Let's go over. So this is the incident report from the Rentham Police Department. We read this before, but let's just quickly go over it again. So Michael Berry, 67 years old, is the individual who's that's this person, Roma Paritza, that's a witness. And then you got Helena Rafferty on here. All right, so here is the original narrative, and it's very detailed police report as opposed to the Canton police reports, which are not. All right, so on Friday, February 16th, 2024, at approximately 18:32 hours, so that was 6:30 at night, Sergeant Eaton and Officer Crossman, was dispatched to Creek Street at South Street on the report of the motor vehicle versus pedestrian crash. Sergeant Eaton and Sergeant Morris arrived at the scene before my arrival and assisted the pedestrian, identified as Michael Berry, until Rentham Fire arrived to evaluate him. Michael sustained a laceration to the right side of his head and was complaining of left knee pain and was transported to Sturdy Hospital by Norfolk Fire. Michael was walking with a cane on South Street wearing a reflective yellow vest and had just entered the roadway/crosswalk on South Street at Creek Street when he was struck by motor vehicle number 1 with a registration plate ending in 59. The operator of motor vehicle number 1, Helena Rafferty, stated that she was turning left onto Creek Street from South Street and did not see the pedestrian with the yellow reflective vest before the crash. Helena stated that she immediately put her vehicle in park and exited the vehicle to assist him and did not move the vehicle before our arrival. I observed motor vehicle number 1 at the scene and took photographs of the damage and location. See attached photographs. There was a white scuff mark on the passenger front bumper from either Michael's person or his cane. No other damage was noted to motor vehicle number 1, and it did not require a tow as it was operable. I observed the area of the crash to be poorly lit with only one fluorescent light. Excuse me. While taking photographs, Roma Pritza came over to me and informed me that she had witnessed the crash. At the scene, Roma stated that the female operator of motor vehicle number 1 was not operating erratically before the crash. Roma provided an email witness statement, which is attached. Helena requested that she be breathalyzed at the scene using a Drager BPT. I initiated test something four zeros and a 9. 9 test number 9. Is that what you call it? I initiated test number 9 and administered the test, having Helena blow into it. The result was 0. Which I wrote into the Dragger log. Helena was issued a civil citation for failing to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk. No further information is available at this time. On Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, at 02 hours, so midnight and 2 hours, I was informed via email that Michael was transported to Rhode Island Hospital, not Sturdy Hospital. The LexisNexis crash report has been updated to reflect this information. And that's the police report. So now we're going to read the complaint. This is short, guys, so we're almost done. That's why I wanted to give you guys the buildup of Helena Rafferty, her kind of rise to her chiefdom, and yeah, go from there. Hopefully, I would like to see more information come out about not just the chief, but other Canton PD who may or may not have had some nefarious goings on in that station, especially around the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe investigation. Anyways, all right, so this is the Michael Berry and Diane Berry versus Helena Rafferty complaint. Now comes the plaintiffs, Michael Berry and Diane Berry, by and through his attorneys, Zeisen and Jacobs, LLP, for their causes of action against the above named defendant, so that's Helena, and hereby allege and state the following. Parties. Number one, plaintiff Michael Berry is an individual with a place of residence in Wrentham. Number two, plaintiff Diane Berry is an individual with a place in Wrentham. Number three, defendant Helena Rafferty, upon information and belief, is an individual with a place of residence in Norfolk. All right, so the facts. Number four, on or about February 16th, 2024, the plaintiff Michael Berry was walking at the intersection of Creek Street and South Street in Wrentham, Massachusetts. Number five, at the same time, defendant Helena Rafferty was operating a motor vehicle at the intersection of South Street and Creek Street in Wrentham, Massachusetts. Number six, as defendant attempted to make a left turn from South Street to Creek Street, the vehicle struck the plaintiff, knocking plaintiff Michael Berry to the ground and causing him substantial and life-altering personal injuries. Count one, negligence. These are the counts against Helena Rafferty, because she wasn't, the only thing that happened to her at the scene was a citation for failing to yield to a pedestrian. I'm curious to know what the sentence would be for that. Hold on one second. All right, so magically, here is the statute from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Section 11, marked crosswalks yielding right of way to pedestrians penalty. When traffic control signals are not in place or not in operation, the driver of the vehicle shall yield to the right of way, slowing down or stopping if need be, so to yield to a pedestrian crossing the roadway within a crosswalk marked in accordance with standards established by the Department of Highways, blah, 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 blah. So he wasn't we know he was in a marked crosswalk, so we know that is, he wasn't in the wrong. If the pedestrian approaches from the opposite half of the traveled part of the way to within 10 feet of the what? That's so confusing. Okay, forget that. No driver of a vehicle shall pass any other vehicle which is stopped at a marked crosswalk to permit a pedestrian to cross, nor shall any such operator enter a marked crosswalk while a pedestrian is crossing or until there is a sufficient space beyond the crosswalk to accommodate the vehicle he is operating, notwithstanding that a traffic control signal may indicate the vehicles may proceed. Whoever violates any provision of this section, so Helena Rafferty, shall be punished by a fine of not more than $200. So that's all she's going to have to pay, and she probably won't even be fined. Come on, she's a chief. So let's be honest, she's probably not going to have to pay a fine, but because it's another town, it's Wrentham versus Canton, maybe, if it was Canton for sure, I would say for sure nothing's going to happen to her. But since it's Wrentham, a different town that she was driving through, maybe they will fine her, but we'll see. And if they do, they can only fine her up to $200. So this is the civil suit that could help pay for medical costs and things like that for Michael Berry. All right, so number 7, plaintiff reallegends and reverse paragraphs 1 through 6 as though fully set forth herein. Number 8, defendant Helena Rafferty had, at the least, a duty to exercise reasonable care in the operation of her motor vehicle, it says, Number 9, at this time of the subject incident, defendant Helena Rafferty failed to exercise due care in the operation of that motor vehicle. Number 10, defendant Helena Rafferty negligently struck the plaintiff, Michael Berry. Number 11, as a direct and proximate result of defendant Helena Rafferty's negligence, Mr. Berry was caused to suffer severe and painful personal injuries. Mr. Berry has suffered and continues to suffer from severe and disabling personal injuries, conscious pain and suffering, economic injuries, and other injuries and damages. Wherefore, plaintiff Michael Berry prays for judgment against defendant Helena Rafferty for compensatory damages, attorney's fees, costs, and interest, and whatever other relief the court deem just and fair. Count 2, loss of consortium. Number 12, plaintiff realleges and reverse paragraphs 1 through 11. Number 13, plaintiff Diane Berry is, and at all times relevant to this action, the spouse of plaintiff Michael Berry. 14, as a direct and proximate result of the negligence of defendant Helena Rafferty, plaintiff Diane Berry was deprived of the care, comfort, society, and companionship of plaintiff Michael Berry and has been otherwise injured. Wherefore, plaintiff Diane Berry prays for judgment against defendant Michael Berry for compensatory damages, attorney's fees, costs, and interest, and whatever other relief the court deem just and necessary. Plaintiff demands a trial by jury on all counts. So if she's going to deny it, if she's not going to say, okay, fine, I settle, here's so much money. I give you 150,000, whatever. She's probably not going to give them that much, but whatever. Let's say she settles for 100,000, which is half of what they're asking for. Okay, fine. They still don't get all that they want, but maybe that covers their medical costs, hopefully, who knows. But she's lost her companion too. Like Michael Berry, even though he's still there, like she's got to care for him now. And it's a different situation than what she had. She's completely upended both of their lives by doing this. So Diane Berry deserves some kind of compensation, I think, as well, if, her and her husband have been, living the great life, retired and just, walking their walks in their reflective vests and stuff and their canes at 86 years old, living the good life. And then somebody just comes along and hits them with their car because an officer of the law wasn't paying attention to the road in front of her and didn't see a reflective vest walking down the crosswalk. But she's not just an officer, she's a chief. She's the chief of police. And then she hides the fact that this happened for 6 weeks from the people, from the town, from everybody. She hides this incident until I think Turtle Boy might have outed her, or somebody outed her for sure. So now she's being sued. Maybe that's the reason why her beautiful, lavish $1.7 million home is being sold, potentially to settle, maybe, my guess, or to pay for a trial because this man wants to go to trial for sure. Hopefully she does the right thing and settles because if she can. But if there's a trial, then, so be it. These guys are going to go for it, I guess, and try to take Rafferty down. Do you guys think that this has any effect on how she can continue as a chief, having this blemish on her past? A pedestrian hit and run, something that she's actually been accused of, calling Karen Reed, hitting and running after she hit John and ran, supposedly, because she backs up her cops and she's the chief and her cops report to her. So everything that they did, Michael Lank, Sergeant Gallagher, all those people. I really want to do more in depth on these guys that um, we don't know a whole lot about, but it'd be interesting to see what their careers, what they get paid. And they get paid exorbitant amounts of money, more than they should be. And I think a lot of it has to do with like overtime scams, which we're finding are happening all the time in this mass state police scam ring that they've got going on. There's a whole bunch of officers that scam out overtime just to get paid more. And they're scamming taxpayers out of their money. And it's been going on a lot in Massachusetts. I've noticed, like, I follow the Josh Levy and the Attorney General and FBI and all that. So they on Twitter. So I'm seeing it all the time. There are people coming down, getting caught more regularly. The people who are instructing the other officers within the academy are questionable and have questionable paths. So there's a lot of other stuff that I could go into just about the officers alone, I think would be interesting. Let me know if you guys would find that interesting before I go and do all that work and research these guys. So let me know in the comments below if that would be something that you would like. Thank you guys so, so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye now. If you've been impacted by a true crime and would like your story told in your own words, or if you or someone you know has been wrongfully convicted or accused of a crime, please write to crimeincourtchannel@gmail.com and tell us your real true crime encounters. Thanks for watching.